What's up, folks? Good to see you all again. This is an off night for me coming on here. In the evenings, I like to have my cigars, depending on how stressful things have been for me, and it's been pretty stressful, believe me. Today, I have the Ghost joining us. We're going to talk about what's coming next with this Israel-Iran ceasefire, the 12-day war. Are they going to cooperate, or are they not going to cooperate? We're going to game it out right now. Folks, I got to say, I had a really crazy day today, man. You never know who you're going to come across. I was, I went with my dad. My dad, he's in a walker now. He's 90 years old, and he sometimes likes to go look at his properties. And we went and looked at a property, and there's a homeless guy there laying in one of the properties. And the whole reason we went there is because my dad was getting complaints on this property that the homeless guy was laying there. And it was just, a lot of people, it's not aesthetically appealing, and so I went with my dad to tell the guy to get off the property. I felt bad doing it. I don't like to do stuff like that. Anyway, I walked up to the homeless guy, had a shopping cart there. He's laying on the sidewalk, and I told him, "Hey, man, you got to get moving." And I started talking to him a little bit, and I realized that he was cognitively there. He wasn't slurring. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't. His mind was sound. Like, the guy was coherent and just really with it. I didn't see anything wrong with him. So I started asking him, I said, "How'd you get here? How did you end up like this?" And he started telling me a story. So I kind of stood there listening to him for a while. And as I'm talking to this guy, he looks up to me and he goes, he used to be an engineer, and he was just bad luck. You never know when the perfect storm is going to hit, and any of us can be there. That's what I started realizing. And then as I continued talking to this guy, he said that he goes, "Oh, you're the author of, you wrote that book, When the Lights Go Out." Boy, did that freak me out. You never, that wasn't a pitch, by the way. It wasn't a pitch, but thanks, Alex. Good catch on that one. But he said, "You're the author, you wrote that book, When the Lights Go Out." I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." And he goes, "My friend gave me that book. I read it." And I goes, a homeless guy telling me this? Crazy. That happened today. And I talked to him a little more and helped him get on his way. But man, you just, the thing that I realized the most, man, especially in times like this, you never know. You never know who you're going to run into, who's going to know you that you would never expect. You'd never suspect. I would have never suspected a guy that pushing a shopping cart read my book. I was dumbfounded. And I had a long conversation with him, and my dad ended up getting out of the car and joining the conversation. We talked to him for about 20, 30 minutes, heard his story, and then he went on his way. But really crazy stuff, man. I just kind of threw me back a little bit. That's all I can say. It just threw me back. Folks, if you're watching this on X, it's going to be cut in the next probably 10, 15 minutes whenever Alex decides to cut it. This is kind of an off show, but tomorrow's going to be a big show. I got SG Anon joining me tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. That's going to be a big one. We're going to talk about Israel possibly getting exposed in all this. We're seeing a lot of people really backtracking now and, apologizing and saying, and listen, I know it was a very stressful, tense time for everybody. But a lot of people, and I want to make this clear, disagreeing with Trump is one thing, but jumping ship is another. When you're jumping ship and calling him names and pointing fingers and calling him a demon, and that's jumping ship. And to me, I'm glad I stayed true blue, and I tried to stay in the trenches with you all and helped make this make sense, because to me, this is an operation easy to see. And I guess it's easy for me to see because I'm a strategist. I'm a boxer. I was a heavyweight boxer. And I've been around these type of people, psychopaths and narcissists, my entire life. And I fought against them. So to me, I can see a pattern here with Trump, how he exposes people and he puts them in the limelight. And I know all of us can see the same thing. We're coming into the uncharted waters right now, folks, where people are going to really start exposing themselves. And you know what else? All roads lead to that one individual, Mr. O. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of stuff's going to start coming out. And the special prosecutor for 2020 has been appointed. A lot of stuff is going to begin starting now, folks. And I'm going to bring the ghost on to talk about all of this. But first, Giant Mining. This is pretty cool. I got to say, this is pretty cool. GiantMiningCorporation.com or GiantMiningCorp.com. Yeah, I know. You don't like to stick around for my commercials. Hold on. It'll be done in 30 seconds flat. The United States is staring down a copper crunch. Global inventories hover a 15-year low. Washington is floating import tariffs, and every EV, data center, and power grid build needs metal we don't control. Investors who wait for secure supply headlines will be paying record premiums again. Picture project delays, soaring construction costs, and CEOs scrambling for offshore concentrate while real investors chase the last uptick. Miss this window and you're funding someone else's margin, because the majors will snap up the few U.S. assets with grade, scale, and infrastructure once the tariff hammer drops. Giant Mining Corp's 9,800 acre Majuba Hill project. I don't know why they all have these names. Majuba Hill project in Nevada. No, not Africa. Nevada. Majuba Hill. Majuba Hill in Nevada is built for this super cycle highway, rail power, and fiber on the claims. A recent hit of 170 foot at 0.4% CU with a 10-foot spike at 4.4%. I have no idea what any of that means. And engineering from Respect already fast-tracking the modeling of the first resource estimate with rivals tangled with new red tape. As rivals tangle with new red tape, Majuba is sprinting toward development. The ticker is off. Time to get over there now, folks, and get involved in mining. I have a lot of friends doing this. GiantMiningCorp.com. The link should be down there below. It's copper. Before the copper land rush prices you out, I get on there and check it out. I'm doing it. I don't peddle anything that I don't do. Hey, yo. So how many of you are excited today? How many of you are excited today to get the show started? I am. I'm going to smoke this cigar. See, the cigar. Having fun with Nino on a day off. I like to smoke the cigar, see? Yeah. Very tasty cigar, see? Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Nino.
Did we lose Ghost?
No. No, he's here. He's here.
Bring him on down. Bring him on into the show.
Oh, I was losing air in the backstage area there. I was getting stuffy.
The green room.
Hey, yeah. Hey, guys.
So
yeah, fun times.
Yeah, it's going to be. So, I feel like I stayed in the trenches. I wasn't going to jump ship because I understand the operation here, as Juanita does, as you do. But I feel like we're just a niche group of people, man. Like, there's so many people that can learn from this. And I'm not pointing fingers or calling people out, but, I really had to dig my heels in for this because a lot of people, man, there's been a lot of social media fighting. A lot of people scared. Oh, nuclear war, it's crazy. I'm actually ready for the scare event. So whenever that happens, I'm ready for it. I know it has to go that direction at some point. But I think at this time, right now, and I know you agree with me, Ghost, is I think we're about to see who's who here, right?
Yes, I believe that process has definitely begun. I mean, let's say one thing before we begin. The president has, for a long time, had the authority to do certain arrests that everybody's wanting to see. That's we want him. But they have to understand, he's had the ability to do that. There's a reason why it will be as it's beginning now. You have to have, again, ironclad cases against those you're going to bring to task.
And you have to neutralize the threats. And
right.
A big threat was Iran. We had to take that out.
Yeah. what did I send you this morning? And we're not going to give my location, but I'm in the deep south. And the first guy on the list was found in 13.5 miles as the crow flies away from me. And I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And yes, a known terrorist. So I told people, don't be fooled into thinking it's going to be only blue cities or urban or suburban areas. It'll be anywhere. Because if they're going to try to sow fear, whether any official order has been given by the Iranian regime or not, they're going to do it everywhere. They don't want people the majority of people who are not in urban areas in this country feeling a sense of security. And likewise, for their safety, they shouldn't.
You know, I've even talked to people here on the border, and they're saying, "Hey, man, you know, there's a big chance that we could shut the border down." And I'm not going to say who's telling me that, but I'm like, really? I mean, completely shut it down? They're like, well, yeah. I mean, you know, things are on our radar with the Homeland Security terror threat, and I don't know if you still have that, Alex, but if you do have it, put it up on the screen. But you know, could you imagine they shut down the border completely in Canada and in Mexico, and because of some kind of, I don't know, terror event that happens? The chatter is here that could happen.
I can see that. Yeah.
And especially with that Homeland Security advisory that came out, you know, high alert
yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
Right. So there's something right there. Yeah.
You have to do that. You can't, and then you have to. Those are the usual, normal access choke points. You shut them down, you've got that covered. Then you can concentrate with other additional personnel, augmentation personnel such as National Guard that are down there, and whatever other military contingents are on the border, both north and south. Again, a long time ago, I said the northern border is, in reality, when it comes to threats, just as much a problem as the southern border. So assets can then be looking at the areas where they normally come through when they intentionally clog up these choke points or ports. Actually it's a port of entry.
Right.
We're not separated by water, but it's still a point of entry or access to each other's country, and they have to shut them down. I would see that happening at a certain point.
Really strange things happening on the border here, man. You know, I was over by the airport riding my dune buggy, and no, I wasn't I was driving by there the other day with a friend, and I saw military by this private airport. Now, this is the airport that El Chapo Jr. and El Mayo got busted in. That's where they flew into, right here in Santa Teresa, right here where I ride my dune buggy. And there was some military presence around there. And I'm wondering, man, I know that was a big airport for people to fly in and out of cartel stuff, you know? So I'm wondering, wow, are they watching that airport now? I mean, it looks like things are on lock, and I'm seeing it first before anybody. And to me, it's kind of like it's a calm before the storm. And I know everyone thinks the Iran-Israel thing was the storm, but I think things are going to really transpire from here.
No, it's not the storm. We're still in it, and more high winds to come.
So what do you think is going to happen with this ceasefire, Ghost?
Well, I loved the fact that they again showed their true colors in each country. Like, I've got to get the last word. No, we've got to get the last word. Okay, fire your last fucking missile and be done. Excuse my language. And be done with it. I'm sorry.
Trump dropped the F-bomb the other day. I mean, today.
And then he dropped the F-bomb this morning, and it was a good thing to wake up to. It was like, wow, that's good. I like that. He's pissed.
Right. He got the fire.
And I think between, what they're reporting in the back channels, there will be a, let's say, peaceful resolution to it. But when the administration isn't happy and President Trump isn't happy with how these two countries, as he said, they've been fighting for so long, they don't know what the F they're doing. And he's right. One does, the other kind of doesn't.
So
but the one that does should know better.
I just saw someone put in here in the chat, and I was going to say that next. And we will take super chats. We'll take questions, folks. But I just saw in the chat someone said there's going to be an FF happening that they'll blame Iran. So could Israel, do something to itself? And I got to be very vague how I say this stuff here, but blame Iran for it. And then the next thing you know, oh well, here we are, we're going to war again, and then Israel starts continuing the bombing. That I kind of feel like that's what's going to happen, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
That's a probability. Another is that something happens here, and it would say be handled by an associated agency to that one country's agency, which does a bang up job, honestly, in many ways, but and has the same issues that ours have internally. But I hate to see that happen, especially through these. And I think I saw Pam Bondi saying there were 1,000, let's say, Middle Easterners or North African descent who are here trained. The numbers a few months back were 110,000, and that 10,000 were a mix of that and many other countries, and not just south of the border and into South America, but I'm talking about Southeast Asia and Middle East, and a little over toward India, those countries. So there's been people here, like about 5-6 months ago, about, I could be wrong, could be later, it could have been late last year, where the fires were burning in before the fire. Actually, it was late fall of last year. I got so much running through my head, forgive me on that. Where out in California, in outside Orange County and LA County, you had 5 fires set, for example, at one time. 4 of the parties got away. One was detained, and I don't know what happened to them. I think they were charged, but with arson. And that individual was Pakistani. Now, I'm not saying it's Pakistan. I'm saying it's the radicals that obviously his birth and passport trace back to Pakistan, but part of the radical Islamic networks. So again, that 10,000, that's a problem, is many countries and many skill sets.
I've been hearing a lot about Texas, Plano, Texas specifically. Like there's a huge, densely populated Muslim area in Texas, and I've heard of Sharia law. I mean, this is just crazy stuff. And I mean, I don't know how you coexist with this type of thinking, so, you better believe that, I tend to think that something's being hidden from the public. And I posed this question on my last podcast. I think it was with Larry Ballard. And I said, man, would it really surprise anybody if Ali Hussein Khamenei, that guy, if that guy was, I got to do it like that. So if that guy maybe is dead now or brained in, because how do they really properly overthrow a regime if this guy's still around? And you know what I'm saying, goes. I mean, do you think maybe they're keeping it secret right now, and they're not? They don't want to ruffle any. They don't want to ruffle any feathers right now. They want to set off a civil unrest, civil war. I mean, what do you think?
I think what you have, I think, despite the timing, and remember I said I have questions on the timing of Israel's move on that. And again, you have to factor in things that nobody's talking about, such as the 6th, 7th BRICS conference in Rio, where they're going to announce going off the petrodollar. A lot of, let's say, foreign spending could be halted or temporarily stayed as a result, because why? We would need that money internally. Now, if you look at it that way, and the indicators for them, for the Iranian population to stand up and do what most of the world knows they want to do, get rid of that regime, then I think that's another factor in their decision to just go. and do. All right. Okay,
Right.
that is what it is. It's water under the bridge at this point. And the president handled it all beautifully as far as not committing, well, don't worry, we'll step in the way and do it for you, as has been the history of these events in the Middle East, as everyone well knows. So that was a very, very good, strong sign in the beginning that he wasn't just going to jump in and fix everything as per the neocons and warhawks here who are under compromise. They have
Who I
dual
think
citizens.
I think Tucker Carlson exposed one of them on his show. And we know who that is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is what you're seeing.
You know, a
So
lot of
let
this
them
infighting, a lot
all
of people
speak.
say, go ahead, go. Sorry.
I was going to say, let them all speak. Let them all, try their little delicate diplomacy double talks, fork tongue talk, and lay out there, what your opinion is. And I know you're talking about, and there's another who looks like he's, had 3 or 4 doubles before he always comes on camera with those bloodshot eyes. Let them say their piece. Let them say, because they always expose themselves in the end. Doesn't matter if it's a 3-minute soundbite or a 10-minute interview. And they're not helping things. But that's okay. They're not hurting.
You know what's crazy about this whole thing, Ghost? Is what the hell happened in Pride Month?
Well,
looks like that's over. I mean, geez,
yes.
they didn't get a chance to celebrate. That's not fair.
But they're still proud. You know that. So
they didn't get their chance to have their floats and their thongs and their So I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh, where did that? What happened to that? That kind of just got
bouncing their junk in a pink thong while dumbass parents have 8 and 10-year, 12-year-olds standing with them on the sidewalk.
All right, be careful. I mean, this fluff too, but
okay, you know what I mean.
Voices.
Yeah, I don't know how else to say that in code. I guess we could have, but I tried to. But
okay, folks, if you're on X right now, I suggest I'm going to take a little commercial break right now. And how many of you saw me on the John B. Wells or heard me on the John B. Wells show the other night? That was pretty cool. I felt like I was on Coast to Coast AM. It was like that old school. He has that radio voice, that Art Bell type of radio voice, and it was a good show. John B. Wells. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. All right, if you're on X, Alex is going to cut the feed on X. Everyone get over to YouTube, and while you're doing that, I'm going to read this quick little commercial break. The American healthcare system is broken. Big Pharma charges an arm and a leg for their products, while insurance companies are focused on growing healthcare spending. So I'm always researching ways to take care of myself naturally, and one of the most overlooked factors is improving your blood flow, folks. And you know what happens when you improve your blood flow if you're a man? Good things. That means more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, heart, muscles, and love muscle. And even places that need a little extra help as you age. I use Blood Flow 7. I love it. From Juvenon, it works by boosting nitric oxide levels 230% and opening arteries up to 62% to improve blood flow. Yes, I use this. We just, with 1 dose a day, it's helped improve my stamina, energy, focus, and supported my heart health, all without caffeine or stimulants. It's doctor formulated, scientifically backed, with premium and natural ingredients. Like I wouldn't share if it didn't work for me, folks. It does, and I got to tell you, it's awesome stuff. And we all need a little help in that area. So go to bloodflow7.com/Nino, folks. bloodflow7.com/Nino, and get amped up and ready for the bedroom once again. Look, it does a lot of other good things. It really helps your health. I just thought, I don't know, I'll put a little funny spin on it, and I try to do that.
Hey, where can I get that?
You know what? I'll get some sent to you since you're a reoccurring guest on my show. I'll try to get you some. You really need it, huh?
I could use all
that. Don't you? Oh boy, Ghost. The Ghost is having trouble. Are you having trouble?
I have a little trouble. Time to time.
Trouble, Mr. David.
Yes, it's from stress, and
It's the stress. Hard. It's so hard. I put your heart down there now.
okay, yeah, because the second heart I had down there doesn't work much anymore. So, you know,
Well, all right. We
that's a
went off
genetic
script a
thing with
little bit.
certain guys. Yeah, I know, but
All right, let's talk about this.
little
So,
funny doesn't hurt.
so I think this is going to be where we smoke out a lot of people coming up here. I think this is going to be coming into this next few months. I think is going to be critical. I think a lot of people, it's going to be wrapped up by July 4th and we're going to celebrate all year. I don't think so. I think there's going to be that it's going to Trump is going to say the 12-day war has ended. Things are great. We go into July 4th celebrating, but then something kicks off, Ghost. I bet you anything. And I'm having Bo Pony on to talk about the 666 date from October 7th when the attacks first happened on Israel. Well, 666 days from there is August 3rd of 2025. And a lot of people tend to believe that maybe the Dome of the Rock gets hit.
Interesting.
The third
but
temple.
no one should be letting their guard down.
That's what I'm saying. Don't let your guard down.
It's July 4th marks the beginning of the year-long celebration. That is the 250th birthday of this country. So I think especially in that time, there's going to be, let's say, low-level wackadoodle. It's like the one in Michigan and the people they bagged. They can't cause any more trouble. But there's many others out there that still, again, have to be taken care of. So no one should be letting their guard down anywhere at any time. And no one really knows as to the potential severity of any one given attack. God forbid it's like a dirty attack, let's say. None of that can be rolled out or pushed off the table by anyone, DHS on over and up. None of it can be taken for granted at this point.
You know what else I see taking off this year? I don't know if Alex, you want to show that Trump Truth social post of Obama kneeling next to the money crates. There it is. For Trump to be putting these things out there and people just ignore him. I can't believe that people it goes right by him. I'm like, are you not paying attention? Are you not paying attention? This is serious. Yeah. For Trump to be putting these things out there, that means he means business. He's not some wacky conspiracy theorist. Look at this.
Exactly. And never before has a picture been worth not 1,000 words, but 10,000 words. People need to take that seriously. But yeah, go ahead with this one.
And I think Iran. This Iran. Now that we've taken out that threat, neutralized that threat, Israel did a lot of our dirty work. And at the same time, we're going to expose what I believe is Netanyahu.
I think that's coming. He's again facing a lot of serious charges, both internally and internationally. I've heard the term war crimes being thrown around. But again, another thing, in addition to being people playing the black pill baby, pull back from that. I would say to these people, just pull back. Understand, all this time, several guests of yours, including myself, have said these are long game processes. But when certain aspects are ready to move, they will move. And the closer we get to those kind of major movements, yes, with whatever resources they have implanted in the US and whatever they can do externally, like messing with foreign ports to fool with US shipments in particular, well, that's a documented aspect of all this. From that, which affects logistics here, people receiving proper medications, and all industries receiving, let's say, base materials for what they do. We're looking at threats on every front, external and internal. The internal threats, yes, they have to be handled with a priority, and they are. And there are those that can handle the foreign threats
Do you
as a
think
priority, and they are.
that in order for Trump to do what he needs to do, and we'll talk more about this on ninoscorner.tv. Don't worry, folks, we're not leaving yet. Don't worry. But that something needs to happen here. Something needs to happen so he can take the next big move. And is that what we're waiting on?
I don't think it's a matter of waiting. I think it's a matter of monitoring and then seeing. And then there are those that you can't monitor because they're off the grid, they're off the radar. They know what they're doing. That's what I worry about. Kind of the black swan that comes out of nowhere. That's
But that needs
let's
to
say
happen,
effective
right?
enough
I mean,
to, yeah.
that needs to happen.
And it's going. It will. It will, because you can only, it's like getting rid of mice once they infest your garage. Until you have gotten rid of them, which means you don't see anymore. There's no more mess. They're still there. It's the ones you can't see, the ones that are not on the radar.
Alex, I don't know
So
if you want to put up that Truth Social post that Donald Trump put out. I sent it to you. Yeah, here it is. Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Right here, he's putting his foot down. Bring your pilots home now. And all those people that were out there saying he backs them, he does this for them, he's their little boy, their little pool boy. This says no right here, loud and clear to everybody.
That shows their deeper ignorance on the geopolitical situation.
You agree with me that he did this knowing that they're not gonna comply? He knows they're not going to, but he's putting his foot down right now, saying, "Hey, we're going towards peace," because he's going to start. The exposing will begin now.
Yeah, that's reasonable, and I think the probability, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. So
I want to say that I appreciate everybody that comes into my chat and that's here. You have an open mind to all this. We're war gaming this. I try not to be just that deranged Trump cheerleader. I like to think about all sides of the chess game. It seems, my audience and myself, you're all learning how to play this chess game with me. I don't think I'm any better than any of you, but I feel like I have kind of this tactical mindset, this military mindset, general mindset, strategist mindset from boxing. So that's why I've converted over to this so naturally. So I want to say thank you to everyone here.
And it's been
we really are a smart group, a smart and a small, higher IQ group of people. And I appreciate all of you being here with us, understanding what's really at play here. You're not just bis boom rah rah, yay Trump. It's not like that. Everyone here is like really trying to figure this out, and it's the most epic entertainment game, reality show, whatever you want to call it, that has ever been played out on the world stage.
Yes, it is. And that's the great thing about your audience. They get it for the most part. And I mean, by saying the most part, with the information they've had and the opinions they've heard. And that's a good thing, a very good thing.
I think I do my part. I do my part. I bring as many good guests as I can. I'm even going to have a colonel come on that's completely against Trump. I'm going to bring him on the show, Colonel K-Fish or something like that. I probably butchered his last name too, but he's going to come on the show, and he has a completely different perspective and outlook. But my audience, I know, folks, you'll be able to sniff this guy out. I mean, and I think he really believes in what he's saying, and he understands the globalist agenda, but he doesn't think Trump is part of any kind of operation at all, So it's going to be interesting to hear his perspective. And I was going to say no to him, but I was like, no, I think it's good he comes on because, I don't want to be an echo chamber.
He hasn't been read in, or is not even considered to be part of certain things. That's just the reality of it. So, yeah, I can understand people having interesting and counter or alternative viewpoints to what's going on. And I think it'd be interesting to hear, to be honest with you. So
I'm going to take some super chats right now.
Yeah.
Alex, if you want to put on some Commander Shepard, Trump dropping the F-bomb in the White House press corps was epic. I agree. I love my president. Guess ideas, razor fist. Alex, if you want to write these down, his take on Israel, Iran is hysterical. So razor fist, I got to find him. Razor fist, if you're out there, please contact me. And I'd love to do a show with you, man. Anybody else out there? Thank you, Commander Shepard. Rob Mars, thank you so much, Rob. Appreciate you. I highly appreciate this stuff right now, folks. I'm having am I having a hell of a time with the nurses and my parents and stuff like that right now. So this all helps. Thank you. Leak
We
from
both know
Cent.
what that's like right now, and
Yeah,
yeah, I can tell you, Nino's got it even worse, and it's difficult.
Dude, it's like I feel like a ghost walking around this town. Like as soon as this is all over, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Leak from CENTCOM that we did not destroy Iran's nukes, that we may only delayed it a bit. But Bannon Pasobic said this needs to be addressed, that the early visuals may not tell what's underground. You know, no way to know that. I think only certain people within a small confinement area know that intel. Bannon, I think, would know, because I've been told Bannon is speaking with the president almost daily, if not daily, every day, maybe twice a day. I don't know. I talk to people within Bannon's camp. I'm trying to get Bannon on the. I talk to Bannon on Signal occasionally. He keeps me updated. So Bannon is, Bannon's in the mix, man. Bannon's in the mix.
Yeah, I've spoken with him before, and good guy, definitely doing a good service. But I think there's things that, with regard to this, on let's say battle damage assessment, that's the last thing you're even going to tell those close to you at this point, and let those who are taking care of the intelligence behind the BDA,
I mean,
handle it. So yeah, I get that, but at a certain point, you have operational security that is paramount. So,
but I mean, what does Iran want?
that'll come out in the wash.
Boo boo, you didn't. I mean, what are they doing? Like, you didn't hit us. Okay, we'll do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll just go back. You want some more?
And indications show that, let's say, and I don't see this happening anytime soon, but let's say centrifuges kick up again. Understand that that entire country is being monitored, electrical usage, or sources of energy that show up on satellite reconnaissance. If there's a step up in another mountain that nobody knew about, well, there's another target. How that's handled remains to be seen. I don't expect any of that in the near future. I don't think anybody would, even those who have access to deep analytical information. But these things are being watched, and they can be measured and monitored. Increased electrical drain in a certain region of the country that doesn't normally show it, or signatures of, let's say, minute radioactive aspects, or let's say a ground penetrating radar surveys a new area that was looked over before, but now there's additional. It's not that they can run and hide, but they can't stay hidden.
Now, Ghost,
on that issue.
Let me ask you this. It's been told to me by people within Bannon's camp that they have switched their GPS to Chinese GPS. That they've transferred over. Okay, and Iran, and that they've halted the Strait of Hormuz. Is it called Hormuz? How do you say it?
Yeah.
That one. And that
I don't know. It's Hormuz.
Whatever. They shut that down, but they're only allowing Chinese in there. They're now just allowing the Chinese. Is that I mean, I'm sure this is development. That's what I heard. I don't really have any validation. That's just chatter I'm hearing, is that they shut it down to everybody else except the Chinese.
If they did that, it would be for the passage of tankers. Now I understand that Chinese gets only, I think it's less than 20% from tankers from Iran. Other oil supplies from Iran are overland rail on their rail line that I think reaches into that region. So that's a very safe way for them to transport oil and keep their oil revenues going to finance their nonsense. And if they've closed the Straits of Hormuz and are only letting Chinese tankers through, or tankers that they may possess or registered under them, or other countries that are bound for China, that tells you right there they want to keep their cash flow going with one of their main buyers of oil. And but according to the rules of international waterways and the protection of the flow of commerce through them, they can't do that. They're doing that as a military action, and not it's not acceptable under maritime law internationally with regard to the shipment of goods and items on the
I
high
think,
seas.
I
So
think everything we're saying here, I think that the truth of the matter is we're about to see the true colors of these actors. We're about to see we're about to separate the wheat from the chaff, right? This is going to be where we see the true intentions, and I don't think it's going to be in a week or two. I think this is going to develop as we come into the coming
yes,
months.
you're right. Exactly on point with that.
So people need to remain patient, and I bet you it's going to be interesting to see what happens to these podcasters that lost their shit. If they're going to lose it again, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and predict that more drama coming, folks, and I think that's where we're going to separate the men from the boys.
Yeah, and it comes down to, look, most of these podcasters are new new to thinking of things in geopolitical strategic terms as well as tactical. The optics, what's reported, what's stated, does not by any means reflect the reality of the situation and where it really may be and where it's going to go from there. That's usually the echoes that are reported weeks or months later in reality. So if they examine their thinking, do a little studying on that kind of thinking, it would make their, let's say, prognostications or uh, opinion regarding their information, it would alter it somewhat and bring their game up.
Thank you, Michelle Christians. I appreciate that. Dr. David Martin reporting 250,000 will delete on 4th of July by unknown group, according to government documents. The national blueprint for, okay, I can't say that word. Same people associated with event 201.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I mean, I hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah. That's an aspect that I know is being watched. I don't know if it's in play, but it's being watched.
Jeez, man, that's scary stuff. Ghost, do you think that Mr. S brought the radio stations to coordinate protests? Bot. Hey, yo. Love you and your taste in music. A perfect circle. You like a perfect circle?
Me? Yeah, I love them. Yeah.
What songs do they sing?
Let's see. They had the 13 Step album, and then before that, I think their album was A Perfect Circle. Mare de Noms, Judith, a whole bunch, just about everything they do. I like it. They haven't done.
You like all the old 90s stuff, huh?
90s and up to today, as long as it's got hair on its nutsack, I like it. I don't like this wimpy, oh, my girlfriend left me and my soy latte spilled on my apple, and I'm so sad today. Yeah, keep that stuff. Grow up there, you little soy boy millennial man bun guy. Listen to some real music that had to do with real observation, pain, and change, and heroin addiction, and backstabbing back in the 90s. You'll learn a thing or two. Plus, it was just great music that came out of the, let's say, hair bands and now I like Depeche Mode like you do and others from the 80s, but when Soundgarden and all those guys hit, it was like, oh, thank God, we've been on a desert island for 10 years with music or more.
We're on it again, I think. It's weird. I guess there's stuff out there that, you have to really look for, but
It strikes a primal nerve in you.
Yeah.
And I loved the music you played for your intro. So yeah.
It's like totally 80s, 90s type stuff. But Wolf Husky. Nino, bring Woo Woo Dude Richard, a psychic, to your show. He has insights to the wars. Okay. Woo Woo Dude. I'll look into it. Alex, take these names down, man. Norman Lee Smith, keep rocking, Nino. Thank you so much. I just went and saw the Coldplay concert, and that was like a spiritual experience, man. Coldplay, like that was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. El Paso rocked the house. I'm talking, folks. I've been to all kinds of concerts. I've been to music festivals, all that stuff, and nothing was better than Coldplay. Packed stadium. I think it was 50-something thousand people or more, and it was just epic, unbelievable. One energy, one flow. Everyone had wristbands that were lighting up. It was insane. I'll try to put some of the. I took video of the concert and I'll put it up on my X account so you all can see it. You saw it? Didn't I send it to you, Ghost, or no? No, I didn't.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'll send it to you, man. You're gonna, dude. It was so amazing. I started I get so emotional with their music. I love Coldplay, man.
And who was that one guy? I think it was it Mustaine that came out recently and was saying what I told you a long time ago, that the Chris Cornell, 6'3" guy hanging from a doorknob with a red ligature, and then Chester Bennington were, and he came out and from his perspective in the industry said what needed to be said.
Right.
Yeah, I am. That's all. I'm leaving it at that. Yeah.
Doster Chick, thank you for all you do. Sending love and prayers for you and Ghost. Thank you so much, Doster Chick. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Somewhere in time, much love and appreciate you too. We've got this together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, God bless them all.
Dennis Day, thank you, Nino and Ghost. Nino back at the Madison Square Gardens rally. Trump brings Elon up to say he wears black hat, and I usually see white hats, but he wears black hat. Yeah, he's dark MAGA. So I think he played a role. Don't you believe that, Ghost? I mean, to me, that was completely scripted to have the globalists force their hand, kick off the civil unrest prematurely. I mean, they cleaned up the USAID and they made them commit to that move, and now they're out of place, man. So now when things start to look at I'm going to predict something here, folks. Get ready. I'm going to predict this. I want to talk about more of this on ninoscorner.tv right after here. Ghost and I are going to ninoscorner.tv, and I'll have it up tonight. But I'm going to say this. Trump, you better believe, is going after Mr. O, and they had to calm some things down and neutralize some threats like Iran to make this happen, so when this starts happening, when this starts coming down, when the dominoes start falling, this was a main piece of the puzzle right here. Don't you agree, Ghost, to neutralize Iran? And while doing that, he's going to expose Israel and go after Mr. O. Do you agree?
He'll expose the proper factions in Israel, because believe me, a lot of the Israeli people see and know what's going on and don't like it. And again, like the Iranian population, I'm hoping that they do stand up and, yes, take their country back. They will be supported. Israel made that publicly known globally. And I think other countries would then step into the mix covertly and help in every way possible. Because the Iranian people want to join the world community in a positive way. And hopefully all of this will aid, assist, and help move that forward. And it's not because, like the president said, it's not about regime change from his perspective. Yeah, it's about a lot of other things we'll cover on the back channel. I don't even want to tempt that on this.
Do you think that Khamenei is on ice? He might be on ice.
It's possible, but I think he's in a deep hole somewhere right now.
I bet you. I would imagine they couldn't get this done unless and you can't get, and Israel's not going to say, okay, ceasefire. He's still on the loose. Israel would only agree to a ceasefire if Khomeini was taken down, in my opinion. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
That's what they're going to push. They're going to push for that.
They're not going to put it out there yet. They're not going to put it out there yet because they don't want to stir up the public or have any kind of civil unrest. So I'm betting.
Or negative backlash.
Right. Yeah. I'm betting that guy's been I feel it. I feel it.
The high probability he is. He ain't with the 72 virgins, but he's somewhere. Somewhere.
Susan Wetzel.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's the 72 virgins for Satan this month. I don't know. But
Susan Wenzel,
knows?
thank you for all you do, Nino. Please take your mom and dad for coffee. I took my dad for coffee today. I pray for their health. I got to tell you, folks, it's the most trying time of my life. I thought boxing was tough. Oh boy, I've been in and out of ICU for the last 5 years with them, and I just, my whole reality is coming down on me right now, man. And you know what? I'm probably going to look back on these days and realize that they're the most valuable, spiritually rich days I've ever had in my life.
You were challenged. But again, God is the temperer. He says, I am the temperer of silver. And you're in the heat and flame right now with the most important things of real life. Your parents, loved ones, and what they're suffering through. All the rest of this is another addition to it, but that's what hits home. And you've done look, brother, you've done an amazing job.
It's not over
Most
yet.
people would walk
It's a
away.
nightmare. It's a nightmare. I don't want it to end yet.
Yeah.
I'm still in this nightmare, and I'll live in this nightmare.
You don't want them to end, but the nightmare part you would welcome. But the only way to welcome that is, so it's a real lousy position to be in, but you're handling it where others are not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're handling it.
Big O, if God before us,
you'll always be able to take that to the end of your life, knowing you did the right thing and you handled it.
Yeah.
And that's something in their memory, and in the years to come, whenever it is of God's choosing, you can look back and say, I did what needed to be done. And you can always look to the memory of your parents, and that's a warm thing to be able to say years after the fact. Trust me.
Big O, if God before us, who could be against us? Thank you, Big O. Thank you very much, Norman Lee Smith Music. I'm currently in first place in Tuffet Maker Music Competition. I don't know what that is, but congratulations on that. That's pretty damn awesome. Norman Lee Smith.
See what that is.
Yeah, everyone check that out. Go check out Norman Lee Smith Music. That's pretty cool. Currently in first place at the Tuffet Maker. I don't know. Sounds like a baking contest. Tuffet Maker. That's cool. Passion, joyful soul. We love you, David. See you tomorrow at Ringside. Yeah, tomorrow's a Ringside with Nino, folks. Get over to ninoscorner.tv. I got a big meeting tomorrow with all the Black Sheep family. We're going to be doing about an hour and 15. Sometimes it runs to an hour and a half where we all war game together. You guys just ask me any question you want. I'll get into it with all of you. We all mix it up together. It's fun. And you all get to network together. You really get to network with the Black Sheep community. All right, let's war game on the back channel, Ghost. You ready for this? You want to go to ninoscorner.tv and really go into the terror threat? Oh, and by the way, folks, SCOTUS rules for Trump deportations to begin at another whole new level. You got that article? Yeah, there. Fire up the deportation planes. Trump official praises Supreme Court ruling. Bam! Huge. So see, he has to take out certain threats in order to deliver these promises. And here we are. Folks, this is epic stuff, man. This is epic stuff. I just don't know if I was them, unless they're here on a crazy mission to be activated, they need to get their butt in a plane and do this themselves, man. Don't wait for them to do it, because you'll never be able to come back.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. All right, Ghost. I'll see you at ninoscorner.tv. I'm signing out, folks. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. with SG, baby. That's going to be big. We're going to rock the house.
That'll be good.
I like saying that. Rock the house. I haven't heard that since like the 80s. We're going to rock the house.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to ninoscorner.tv, Ghost. I'll see you there right now.
You got it, and God bless the audience.
Peace out, Alex. I'll see you tomorrow.